Welcome back into another episode of the Prodigy Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, and on the other line, once again, we have the handsome, the ever-loving, the talented Stephen Owens.
Who there?
What's up, man?
Not much, man. What's going on? How is everything?
Nothing much, man. I feel like we just did this, but hey, we're back.
Hey, guess who's back?
Yeah, if you don't know, we were recording this on the same day, so it's
That's supposed to tell them that.
Yeah. Oh well. If you listen to Monday's episode, well, we're back, same day, knocking these things out. All right. Well, I mean, we got to do it like this, man, because our ladies are not going to be happy when we want to record every other day when NBA games actually matter. So I'm trying to hold off on that. Let's get some patience. All right. Got a couple more weeks of some freedom. All right, man. So you're all in. So let's go ahead and begin the draft. And here we go. So for those of you at home, we are doing a half-point PPR league. I believe this is a 12-round draft. Yep, 12 rounds.
Yeah,
it is a 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex, and then the bench spots. So I am on the clock. I have the number 2 pick, and I will tell you who has gone so far. Saquon Barkley went number 1.
Which I would probably take him 1 over McCaffrey, only because McCaffrey has a new coaching staff. What he did was under the old coaching staff, which is now gone. So you don't know if they're going to scale that back. The talent is there, but I also believe Barkley is on that same talent level.
Nope, I agree with you. So, but with this, there's really no conversation here. McCaffrey versus Kamara, I would still take McCaffrey here. McCaffrey's ceiling is the guy is going to catch 100 balls each year.
There's no competition there. He's more touches. More opportunity. Like Kamara is more of an efficiency guy.
Yeah. All right, so taking McCaffrey here. Next goes Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Michael Thomas, and now, Steve, you're on the board at 1-7.
Yeah, so we were talking about me taking a receiver, but there's no way in hell that I can actually leave Zeke on the board here.
Well, it's a common misconception, though. Like, a zero running back philosophy means you're not reaching for a crappy running back. But when Zeke falls to you at 7, you have to take him here.
It just doesn't make any sense otherwise.
So, you can go in having that strategy. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do this. But when somebody falls to you, you gotta adjust. You can't just have one scenario. So, Steve, you took Zeke at 1-7. We got Joe Mixon 1-8. Josh Jacobs 1-9, Devontae at 10, Chubb and Tyreek Hill close out round 1. Then we have Miles Sanders, Aaron Jones, Kenyon Drake, Julio Jones, and Lamar Jackson as the first QB off the board. So, Steve, you're back on the board. There really hasn't been that many wide receivers, and there are a couple nasty wide receivers that have fallen to you here in the second round.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of them would technically kind of be a reach for me. But I'm going to continue the philosophy, like we said. It's almost like best player available, or you're going to go more running back heavy.
I didn't know it was going to come off like this. This is wild.
Yeah. I would never usually do this because you know how I'm a fan of not doing this, but go ahead and give me the next best quarterback.
All right, so you took Patrick Mahomes. Next off the board was Hopkins, Kelsey, Godwin, and Kittle. So now I'm up. The board looks like this. Austin Eckler, Kenny Galladay, Mike Evans, James Conner, Adam Thielen, and such.
And you're going to get 2 out of the next 4 here, so.
Yep. I've seen Clyde Edwards go in the 2nd and 3rd round. This is a redraft mock. I would not consider taking him in the 2nd or 3rd round. That is way too rich for a guy like that.
Williams is still a thing there. And what the coaches said last year about Williams was true. So they haven't really lied. So you would have to expect that they say that it's going to be a committee. It's going to be a committee. Edwards-Helaire is the future, and he fits the offense the way they want to run. But as of right now, I mean, you got to believe what they're saying and think that it's going to be a committee.
So for me here, I got a couple options that I'm thinking about. Austin Eckler's there, and I do like Eckler. If this was full point PPR, it'd be a no question. But it's half point. Makes me want to think about going wide receivers that have some touchdown upside. somebody like Kenny Galladay. And I know we came in having a strategy, but man, I was hoping that I was hoping that Kenyon Drake or Aaron Jones would somehow fall to me instead of the way it's way it's worked out here.
Yeah,
So
definitely the first round. I mean, there was 2, 4, 6. What was it 8, 9 running backs still?
yeah, that's a lot. But you know what? Let's just do this. I'll take Eckler because I do like him, and I think there is a little bit of a fall off after that. So I'm gonna take Eckler here, and good. It worked out the way I
Yeah,
wanted.
you're still gonna get Kenny Galladay.
Yep, exactly. So I took Eckler. Mike Evans went next, and then to start the third round, James Conner went, which I had no. I'm not really that big on James Conner. Not at this value. I think if I could have got him a little later, I would have wanted
At
him.
back end of the third, I would probably consider it just because he's a volume guy. He doesn't do anything spectacular.
Yeah. So here, there's Kenny Galladay or Adam Thielen. If it was PPR,
Your
full
boy's there
point,
too.
I would probably. Who did you say?
Your boy is still there too.
Oh, who?
Chris Carson. You love that man.
I do like Chris Carson, but that hip injury, man, is a little bit scary. So,
Yeah.
if it was full point PPR, I'm taking Adam Thielen here. But because of that, though, I'm gonna take Kenny Galladay. I feel like he has more touchdown upside, and he really broke out last year. So I'm gonna take Kenny G here. All right, we got Melvin Gordon, Cooper Kupp, Le'Veon Bell, and Chris Carson are the next guys off the board. Steve, you are back up. So far, you have Zeke and Patrick Mahomes.
Yep, and I mean, I'm I'm honestly going to probably take Thielen. I don't think there's much competition for volume, and he's going to be a target monster. We would expect the rookie to get some because Diggs left, but I think that you see there's still a rapport with Kirk Cousins. So you give me the number one receiver in a offense that doesn't pass the ball as much as we'd like, I'll take Thielen for that reason.
Absolutely. And I would have done the exact same thing there. He's probably the last surefire number one that was there, especially in a redraft. So after that, Leonard Fournette, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Amari Cooper, Todd Gurley, and Mark Andrews came off the board to end the third. Start the fourth round, we have A.J. Brown, David Montgomery, Mark Ingram, Devin Singletary, and DK Metcalf. So, Steve, you are back up.
And there's the three next receivers that we could talk about: Calvin Ridley, Allen Robinson, and Juju Smith-Schuster. I could take any one of those three and be happy.
Absolutely.
Robinson was on pace, especially down the stretch of that season last year. He finished as a number one receiver. So to get a number one receiver here in the fourth is a great thing. I don't see Juju repeating what he did last year, especially if Roethlisberger is healthy. But I think the safer play for me is actually Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Even though I do love Calvin Ridley this year.
I did. I just sold Juju in my dynasty rebuild.
Well, he's a little scary, but you remember he's young.
He is, and that's the scary part is, we don't know how Ben's going to be, and just like going forward, like was it because he was playing next to Antonio Brown? I mean, that takes a lot of attention off you when you're playing with somebody like that. And that was Ben's last prolific year. If Ben's not healthy, that's going to hurt. And then who is behind him? What's their backup plan for quarterback?
There's no guarantee Juju even gets re-signed there. He could be somewhere else next year.
Right. Which could be a positive or negative. I mean, it could be like
when I think he's better in the slot, and they have to move him back into the slot, in my opinion.
So I sold him. I sold him for the number 9 pick this year, Brandon Cooks, along with a 2021 first and second. I mean, I felt like I couldn't say no in that deal as somebody that's rebuilding.
Especially the team you inherited.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
You're getting a lot, and it's understandable what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it was tough to do still, but had to do it. All right, so I'm back on the board. My team so far is McCaffrey, Eckler, and Kenny G. Now the question is, do I want to go kind of more upside take someone like Juju. You know, we talked about there's a range of outcomes for him, but I'm kind of thinking though. I'm thinking I might take DJ Moore here over Juju actually, and it's kind of like
You could end up with both, honestly. You're in that position.
yeah. I mean, maybe I take Juju here and try to get DJ Moore back to back. What do you think?
That's how. It's whatever way you want to play it. You better take whoever you want more first, because that person. Look at the person behind you.
Yeah.
They're going to take a receiver. They have running back, receiver, running back. So whatever receiver you like more, you better take, because that next person's probably going to take the other one.
Mm. Man, I do like Juju still though, but the reason I was thinking about taking DJ Moore, I know it's not a typical stack, but the fact is, and this was fun when I owned like Kareem Hunt and had Tyreek Hill. You get all of those, those potential points. So when you have their running back and their top receiver, you have all the potential to get the touchdowns on that day.
Right.
So, but with saying that, I'm going to take Juju just to see what happens, see if DJ Moore falls.
It's a good value pick right there,
Oh, and there goes DJ Moore.
If you would have took DJ Moore, I'm sure Juju would have went. You knew he was going receiver because of his roster makeup. That's why I was saying, like, in your position, you had to pay attention to what that team had, because you're getting one or the other.
Yep, for sure. So now is the question, I don't want to go tight end yet. I know Ertz is there, but I feel like I can get value later. I could use another running back, obviously. I don't want to reach for Jonathan Taylor here. I do like him a lot, but we're talking dynasty versus redraft is a big difference. Yeah. So for me, it's going to come down to wide receivers. So it's either DJ Chark, Keenan Allen, or Odell Beckham Jr. For me, Odell had a really good year when Baker had a down year last year. And I don't like Tyrod Taylor's ability to get Keenan Allen the ball. I know Herbert has a chance there. And then same thing with DJ Chark. If I'm going to swing, since I swung with Juju, I might as well swing with Odell is what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to take OBJ here. So Beckham goes, then Kyler Murray, Jonathan Taylor, Dak Prescott, and Russell Wilson. A run of quarterbacks that just happened. So, Steve, you're back up, man.
Now, see, I don't have a problem with Keenan Allen. The best running back available for me is Raheem Mostert, and I still think that's kind of a reach for me right now, because San Fran is that team. You'd never know which running back it's going to be.
You're better off taking Tevin Coleman a couple rounds later.
Yeah, for the value, I do like McLaurin, and I do like Diggs, but I think that the safest bet for me is Keenan Allen. He sits in the slot, and Tyrod does favor the middle of the field compared to the outside of the numbers.
Yeah.
So as long as they keep him inside, I should reap the benefits of that. So I'm going to take Keenan Allen and fill out my receiving core.
Yep. All right. So your three receivers are Thielen, A-Rob, and Keenan Allen. I mean, great value in each one of those spots. All right. So right after that, Diggs went, Zach Ertz, DJ Chark, Darren Waller, and Damian Williams close out round 5. We start round 6 with A.J. Green, Deshaun Watson, McLaren, Deebo Samuel, and Marlon Mack. So you're back on the board. Mostert's still there at this point.
Yeah. Like I said, I would feel safer going with almost a Kareem Hunt, because I know he's guaranteed a role. We know what his role is going to be.
True.
I really like Swift because I don't think there's much competition besides an injured Kerryon Johnson.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm in a position where I'm going to gamble on a running back. The safest gamble is Kareem Hunt. The outlandish gamble is Swift. But I guess because of the game I've played, I'll take one more safe pick in Kareem Hunt.
Yeah. So after that, Mostert, Marquise Brown, DeAndre Swift. I was really hoping he fell to me. And Cortland Sutton.
Either way.
Yeah,
I was actually leaning towards Swift, and I just I said I better go safe.
It's crazy to me that Gronk is rated this high. It really is, man.
I don't want anything to do with him this year.
Did you see his Madden rating?
Was it in the 90s or something?
95.
And
A
I said,
95, dude.
after a year off and losing 60 pounds or whatever the hell it was,
That's too crazy for me.
that's a little too much respect.
All right, so my team so far: McCaffrey, Eckler, Galladay, Smith-Schuster, and it's crazy to get Odell Beckham in the 5th round. His ceiling is crazy high. Going here, still, I don't want to reach for a tight end. There's a couple of tight ends available, but I would still feel like I'm reaching. Wide receivers, there's some good ones around. We're in the running back game now. And Cam Akers is there, Darius Geis, Ronald Jones, J.K. Dobbins, Sony Michel. Most of the guys that are around here. Cam Akers is interesting, but I think I'm going to take a running back here. And I think I'm going to take Darius Geis as my running back.
The talent is there, and that coaching staff coming in, you saw what they did with McCaffrey. So if he gets even 2/3 of that workload and stays healthy, you would expect a pretty decent season out of him. It's a high risk, high reward kind of thing. I mean, this guy's been hurt more than he's played.
Yeah, I mean that's where we're at, though.
Yeah. I would consider taking him. And if he fell to me, I probably would take him.
Yeah, and if you're worried, I mean, some crazy fantasy people are like, Antonio Gibson from Memphis is he's going to be the guy. Like, I don't really see it. I think Darius Geis, he's in his 3rd year.
They still have AP.
Yep. I'm not worried about AP either. Geis, in the couple of games he played last year, was actually really productive. So I'm going to take Geis here, and we'll see how the board falls. So we got Geis, Brandon Cooks, and Rob Gronkowski go. All right, so I'm still here. Not considering a quarterback yet. I'm still going to wait on that. Tight end, Evan Ingram's here. That's somewhat of a person I guess I would think about. Jarvis Landry, Gallup, Devontae Parker's here. This gets tough, man. Part of me thinks – let me look at the tight ends again as a whole. Yeah, I think I can still wait on tight end. So I think I'm going to take Devontae Parker here. Just take another wide receiver.
Is that your flex now?
Yeah, I'll probably play him over Geis, most likely.
Right. So what just went there? Cam Akers, Ronald Jones, Dobbins, Evan Ingram.
Yep.
Nice little run on young running backs.
Yep.
And I'm on the clock, and the best available is Jarvis Landry or Gallup, which I'm not a big fan of either. I like Gallup, but that's a very hungry, very good receiving room now.
It's crazy, man, how good that is.
You could still get someone like a Julian Edelman, who would be the number 1 receiver there with Cam. I'm going to take a gamble here on someone. Actually, there's 2 guys I like to gamble on right here. One is Sony Michel.
Yeah, knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, well, you get a running quarterback. Running backs always reap the benefit of a running quarterback because you can't stack the box anymore. And Cam is good enough of a passer that they can't stack the box anyway. Mm-hmm. And then I do like Tyler Boyd as well. He's an underneath type receiver, which, you got A.J. Green coming back, so he could be leaned on a little bit with a rookie quarterback starting. But I'll take Sony Michel with the gamble. I have to gamble on my running backs late because of the philosophy I used.
Yeah. All right, so Hunter Henry goes, Jarvis Landry, Drew Brees, Gallup, and Aaron Rodgers close out round 7. Then we have Edelman, Fuller, Deontay Johnson, Josh Allen, and Marvin Jones. So you're back on the clock. So far you have your quarterback and Mahomes. Your running backs are Zeke, Hunt, and Michelle, and your receivers are Thielen, Robinson, and Keenan Allen.
And I'm probably
Boyd's still there.
Yeah, I'm probably going to take him. But I'm going to wait on tight end. I think that's the philosophy I'm going to take because we missed the top tier, and I feel like
Yep.
the drop off is so dramatic. I don't really want to touch it.
Yep.
Tyler Boyd could be a pretty risky gamble here, and I like the guys that have shown the upside already. He's already done it once,
Yep.
so that's a good 8th round pick for me.
Well, we saw how Burrow used his receiver in the slot. I mean, Jefferson had how many catches last year out of the slot? Over 100, like 118,
Yeah,
I believe.
absolutely.
So it's a good role to pick. So I like what you did there. Next is Mecole Hardman, Sanders, Kerryon Johnson, and Darius Slayton. Yeah, and you were talking about the tight end, Steve. Don't do what I did. Last year was my first year playing Dynasty. And, you listen to people like the fantasy footballers, and they get you really hyped up about a certain player, this and that. And I took Vance McDonald in the 7th round last year of our Dynasty startup.
Yeah, you were all over Vance Dance last year.
And he's no longer on my team. So they screwed me with 2 guys. It was him and Dante Pettis that I got on, and I got on the hype train. And that was a big mistake because both those guys – I still own Pettis because I can't cut a guy that I took in the 5th round, but it sucks.
Yeah, there's still a chance for them.
Yeah, so my point is don't reach when you miss out on the tier because I missed the big 6 tight ends. I missed out.
You tried to force it to a big 7.
Yeah, I sure did. I was like, oh, man, y'all are missing Vance, man. He's the one. Nope. All right, so the guys on the board here, Matt Ryan, Tevin Coleman, Jordan Howard, Burita, James White. I'll tell you right now, I am going to take Tevin Coleman here.
It's a good value pick.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I love Tevin Coleman.
So afraid of that offense. And Jordan Howard's pretty much the same thing, and he just went – it went Matt Ryan, Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard is going to be – your 2-down thumper on a team, but the offense is probably not going to score as many points as San Fran. That's still a team in building. So I do like Jordan Howard, the talent. I just don't know about how that offense is going to roll this year.
All right, so I haven't taken a quarterback yet. So let's
There's
just
a lot of options.
That's what I was going to say. Let's evaluate the room. So me and
you love that player that's sitting right there.
I do. So me and one other owner in this mock have not taken a quarterback yet. So you have to know your league. If you're in a league, in a redraft league, man, we've been in leagues where teams take their 2nd and 3rd quarterback, and we're sitting there like, oh, my gosh, we haven't even taken our 1st.
Yep, we both did that.
Yeah.
And both turned out all right. I was in the championship.
Yeah. First year, I was like, oh, my gosh, what is happening right now? Mistakenly took Trubisky as my first quarterback. That was dumb. That's another hype train move right there. But the guys in consideration, here's the QBs that are still left on the board. Carson Wentz, Tom Brady, Daniel Jones, Stafford, Baker, Big Ben, Kirk Cousins, Cam. Even Jared Goff, I'm going to throw into that little conversation. So I love me some Carson Wentz. And some of that is some bias because, you're my boy, Steve. So I start to drink the Kool-Aid. I read a lot of Philly stuff because of you.
Yep. He's the most talent he's ever had around him. He's got a ton of speed finally, which the last 2 seasons had killed us because we bring in, Mike Wallace, he gets hurt. That was our speed guy. We bring in Deshaun Jackson. He has one spectacular game, gets hurt, comes back too soon, gets hurt again. We always lost our speed. So this year they spent a lot and invested a lot of draft capital in speed.
And people forget Carson Wentz, the year you guys won the Super Bowl. He was the no-brainer MVP. Absolutely no-brainer before he tore his ACL.
Probably still could have won it.
And people just forget. They're just like, oh, Big Nick, he's the one. Like, Carson Wentz is special. And I still believe he's special.
Yeah.
And he, like you said, he has more talent. He has more talent, arguably, than he did the year they won the Super Bowl on offense this year. Best running back he's played with, Miles Sanders. His receiving core, I mean, is honestly 6 to 7 deep, in my opinion, of guys that could play. You have veterans and young guys. So I've talked myself into it. I'm taking Carson Wentz here.
Well, I mean, he's the 97th ranked player, and I think you're using, the 98th or 99th pick on it. So you're taking him where he should be taken on average.
Yep, and there was a chance he could have made it back to me, but at the same time, I didn't take DJ Moore when I said he was my guy, and he didn't make it back to me. And so when you're basically at the turn at 1-2 when you pick there, you have to take your guy because now I'm going to wait a long time before I pick again. So, all right, the next guys that went off, we had another running back run. Burita, Lindsey, James White, and Alexander Madison. So, Steve, you're back on the board, and the only position you haven't filled yet is still tight end. You have 4 receivers and 3 running backs currently.
Do I have 3 running backs or just 2?
No, you have 3. You have Michelle, Kareem, and Zeke.
Oh, that's right. He's in my flex.
Yep.
I didn't see the so I almost feel like I should go tight end here, but Jared Cook is not bad, but it's still a little bit of a reach for me.
Yep.
So, I mean, maybe I'll just look more towards any kind of talent. Latavius Murray's not a bad pick here. It is kind of thinning out, to be honest with you.
It is.
But I think I'll take Murray is guaranteed a role. He had it last year. And if anything happens to Kamara, we've already seen he's a full force to be reckoned with. So I'll buy the insurance policy.
Yep. All right, so Tom Brady, Tyler Higbee, CeeDee Lamb, Christian Kirk, and Keyshawn Vaughn close out round 9. Round 10 starts with Jared Cook, Baker Mayfield, Darrell Henderson, Matt Stafford, and Sterling Shepard. I just want to say something on those recent picks. Darrell Henderson went in round 10, and I feel like he has just as much of a chance to start and have that backfield as Cam Akers.
Mm-hmm.
So Cam Akers went in – where'd he go? He went in round 7, which is 3 rounds more. And there's a lot of good players that went off the board after him. So just for context.
Yeah, I still think Malcolm Brown's going to be involved. It's another one of those San Fran situations. It could change week to week, and those are the ones I'm very cautious. Yeah, you got the more explosive guy maybe, but if you're not playing – if it's a best ball league, then these are great picks. If it's you have to start specific players, you don't want to get in that guessing game every week.
Yeah, it's too frustrating. Like owning any Patriots running back was – if you're in best ball, it's fine.
Oh, for years.
Best ball, it's great, but if not, man, you might put in so-and-so, and Jonas Gray might come in and run for 200 yards on the Colts. So.
Oh, I'll never forget that. Yeah.
Me neither.
I still don't have a tight end, and I almost want to wait, but I am very high on Hayden Hurst this year.
I was hoping he fell.
Kind of the range that he should go in, so – if he gets even 2/3 of what Hooper got last year target-wise, I think he's a more athletic version of Hooper.
Absolutely, man.
I mean, risk-reward, it's between him and Fant, and Fant was second in targets on the team last year, but they also brought in Judy, they brought in Hamler. Yeah. I'm not that sold on Locke. It's almost like a Baker Mayfield situation. Oh, all this talent's there, but will he be able to do anything with the talent?
Except Baker actually had a phenomenal rookie year.
Right.
And Locke had he played 4 or 5 games. Yeah, they won, but he threw over 200 yards once, and it was against the Texans. So
I guess I will play my position and go ahead and finish out my roster and take my tight end.
Yeah, I love that pick because Hayden Hurst is a guy I really like, and he can easily be a top 5 tight end this year. I mean, if Hooper was a top 5 tight end, I don't know how Hayden Hurst can't be.
To me, he's the more athletic. Like I said, the more athletic version. He's a better runner.
He's a first-round tight end.
First-round pick, yeah, but we've seen a lot of first-rounders not actually be first-rounders after a while. So,
speaking, did you see Chicago traded Adam Shaheen?
They did?
They traded Adam Shaheen to Miami for a conditional 7th-round pick.
Nice.
That is a guy that was a 2nd-round pick.
yeah, this is our guy, and then they take 19 tight ends later.
Yeah.
We're still picking up tight ends. I'm surprised they didn't ask for a tight end in return.
I know. Hey, that's a great pickup for Miami. They have the money and a conditional 7th-round pick. Why not take a shot on a guy?
And then you can
So,
go 12 tight end, your 12 personnel. It's him and the other freak of nature over there. What's his name?
oh, Gesicki.
Yeah, he's a freak of nature, that dude.
Speaking, that might be one of my picks here.
Yeah,
All right,
I
so the
like him as
guys,
a late
the
rounder.
guys that win next are Jerry Jeudy, Tony Pollard, Daniel Jones, and Noah Fant, however you want to say it. So the top guys on the board: Austin Hooper, Henry Ruggs, John Brown, Chase Edmonds, Zach Moss, Keel Harry, Mike Williams. Antonio Gibson's this high. Wow. He's over Justin Jefferson. Okay. So I still need a tight end, but I would bet my face on it that the guy that I want
It's going to be there in a round
is
or
going to
two.
be there. So
Yeah.
now I just need to figure out who I want to take. So for running backs, I have Tevin Coleman, Geis, McCaffrey, and Eckler. I could maybe use another one just because this might be the last shot of them. There's some pretty nice little wide receivers here, but I feel like I can get another one of those later. So here I'm going to take a running back, and I'm going to take Zach Moss here just because possible ability to be a
Touchdown vulture for sure.
yeah.
He's
So
supposed to get that Frank Gore role, which is the short yardage and goal line. They don't want to do it with Singletary.
no, they don't. So Henry Ruggs and Antonio Gibson win next.
I was hoping Ruggs slipped.
So for me here, I am thinking I'm going to take my tight end now just because I don't want to have to wait 23 picks to pick again. So it's Austin Hooper, Goddard, Gesicki, and Hawkinson. For me, I'm going to take Gesicki here. I'm a huge fan of him. You had a stat that you threw out in the podcast last year. He had the most open yards
Separation
ran
yards.
of
Yep.
any route, not just tight ends, of
everyone.
player. His actual physical makeup is that of a George Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tight ends take 3 years usually.
and
It's not a right away thing.
he really started breaking out, and this is redraft, so I guess you can go with Hooper. I'm just not high on Hooper I don't think Baker can get the ball to that many pieces. So I think Hooper's going to kind of fall down the line there.
Well, then you also still have Njoku there. You still have Landry,
Yep.
Odell. You don't want 2 pass catchers from the Browns anyway.
Right. And then you have Goddard, who I love,
But they want a lot more talent.
It's a lot more talent, and it's really hard to pick a guy, man.
Philly was to move Ertz because Goddard is the youth, then this guy shoots up into a top 5 position.
Oh my gosh.
He's probably still going to be touchdown relevant because he is a big red zone target.
Hey, he was my tight end last year because I took Vance McDonald and then I got Goddard later. Well, Goddard became my tight end.
Right, and Philly was throwing to practice squad players. So I mean, he was the number 2 target on the team.
Yeah,
it's him and Ertz.
So I'm a big fan of the talent, but I love Gesicki and I love the opportunity. And the way I feel is if Ryan Fitzpatrick's the quarterback, I think he starts right off where he picked up from the end of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And if Tua's there, why can't it be the same thing? At least going forward. So I'll take Gesicki. I finally got my tight end. Wide receiver, John Brown, Sammy Watkins went next. Then we have Ben Roethlisberger and Austin Hooper. So, Steve, you were on the board, man. You got 4 running backs and 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end and 1 QB. So where are you going?
Well, obviously, me and you both feel like you don't really – if this was a deeper roster, you get a second quarterback, but usually you just kind of carry 1 tight end and then stream for that week because there's not enough talent to carry 2 tight ends usually.
Right.
I'm in a position where I probably have to gamble on someone like an N'Keal Harry or even a Jefferson, a high upside receiver, a guy who could potentially be a number 1 on his team. So
yep.
I know that Cam has always favored bigger receivers that are kind of jump ball catchers.
Yep.
So I'm going to look at Harry here and go ahead and draft him.
This is the part of the draft where you kind of get your league winners, you know? And what people mean by that is you take a guy later and he puts up stats of a guy that went in the top 3 rounds. And that's how you win a league. You know, a couple years ago in our way smaller league, gosh, we've come a long way since that little league that I played in, this little 8-team league. I took Patrick Mahomes with my last pick, and that was the first year he started. And that turned out pretty well. So different circumstances, but that's how you kind of win a league. Tariq Cohen, Justin Jefferson, Justin Jackson, Chase Edmonds, and Mike Williams finished out round 11. Now we're in our last round, which is round 12. We have Alshon Jeffrey, Anthony Miller, Dallas Goedert, Rashad Penny, and Boston Scott. So, Steve, you have one more pick.
This is my last pick, so I'm going to take my homer and my reach. Everything I'm reading about Alshon Jeffrey not playing, possibly starting the roster on the PUP, the physically unable to perform list. I really like what I see and I hear even from Rieger himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to actually pass Deshaun Jackson and go with Jalen Rieger.
Absolutely. That's a great pick.
You got to have that one. Yeah, I like to take at least 1 or 2 rookies a year. Hopefully you hit on them. And in the 12th round, if I can get my rookie that I want, and being a Philly fan, that's at least I have something to cheer for if my roster doesn't go well.
Right. So next was Kirk Cousins, Duke Johnson, Hawkinson, and Crowder. So it was a good thing
Duke Johnson.
Yeah, I know. It was a good thing that I took Gesicki. I don't think he would have made it back to me.
No, I don't think he would have either.
So now I'm kind of in the same position as you. I kind of want to take a high upside guy here. Your boy Preston Williams is here.
I love Preston Williams. Deshaun Jackson wouldn't be bad for you either because you took Carson Wentz. And if you hit that combo, that's not a bad move either, especially with such low draft value put into it.
Yeah, Deshaun's there, Preston Williams.
Like your boy Pittman.
I love Pittman, but I just question.
He's going to get that Mike Williams role. It's going to probably be touchdown dependent.
Yeah, and, Mike Williams had a ton of potential opportunities for touchdowns, but he didn't convert. I just think there's more of a learning curve there. The thing is, I own Parker, so taking Williams is,
Yeah, you're hoping one or the other hits. You're kind of gambling against yourself.
Yeah, and I don't want to have to play that game where I'm just like, man, is this the day this guy's gonna go? Or so I don't know, man. Gosh, Mims is so low. I was gonna even consider taking Mims here, but
I like Mims this year because of what's not in front of him. Ayuk is good too. If you're looking at rookie receivers, which I see you are, yeah. Ayuk is good.
Oh, I forgot you can see what I'm doing.
Too, because right.
Mm-hmm.
He's good too because what's his name's hurt. There ain't much
Debo.
In the way Samuel's hurt and there ain't much in his way.
Yeah.
But I think Samuel's supposed to be back before the season starts or right at season start.
Close to. So, yeah, you know what? Like, this is home run time, and you can go one of two ways. You could take the veteran that people think that fell off, and you could try to hit a home run there. But I'm going to try to hit a home run with a rookie, and I'll take Denzel Mims because he has the opportunity to maybe be number one there. And
if this was like a 16 or 18 round draft, I would definitely be looking at Mims in, that 15th or 16th round because I do believe there's some talent there, and we know that the talent that's in front of him isn't that great, and they need a number one receiver. They lost Robbie Anderson. Jamison Crowder is a strictly slot underneath guy. So if you can just get part of that share that Robbie Anderson got, you'll be fine. Because it's your end of your bench. You need him for a bye week.
No, exactly. So in the last pick of the draft was Cam Newton. So
That's a good last pick too.
Let's run down on our team. So I have McCaffrey. Actually, let me just go to roster. So Wentz is my quarterback. McCaffrey and Eckler are my 2 running backs. Kenny Golladay, Juju, and Odell are my wide receivers. Gesicki is my tight end. Either Geis or Parker is my flex, and then I have Tevin Coleman, Zach Moss, and Denzel Mims to close out my roster. Steve, do you still have yours up?
Yep, I have started with Zeke. Then I went Mahomes, which I usually don't do quarterback that early, but you wanted me to take a different approach. And me and you usually have a very similar approach. So I went quarterback early. I got me a top two at the position. Then I went receiver with Thielen, Robinson, Keenan Allen. Back with Kareem Hunt, doing almost a slight zero running back philosophy. Gambled on Sony Michel, came back with Tyler Boyd and then Latavius Murray. My tight ends Hayden Hurst, N'Keal Harry, and Rieger round out
I
the
can tell
bottom
you,
end of my
man,
roster.
I love your receiver group. You have three of the top surefire veterans there. And, Thielen, Robinson, and Keenan Allen. Maybe the best route running trio.
And if Allen Robinson, I'm going to tell you right now, if Nick Foles wins that job, I think he automatically shoots up the board. He's been a top 12 receiver every year he's actually been healthy.
Right.
One of the most overlooked receivers in fantasy.
Mm-hmm. No, I know. So that was a great pick. Just in general.
You're in Chicago, or you were in Chicago. You do hear a lot about that, so.
Oh, yeah. Nope.
I think that went pretty well.
Yeah, no, it was, hey, we got through this draft without my internet deciding to go out in the middle of it. So that was good.
Yeah. So maybe next time we'll either do one from the middle, like where we're back to back, so we can kind of screw each other, screw each other over on picks, or we can do like your first and 12. We both have the back to back, so we 12.
Mm-hmm. Well, next time we need to do it with PJ too. And I think we just do all three of us in a row and just really go crazy. We got to put PJ in the middle.
Kill each other. It'd be fun.
I'm just randomly
going to we from both sides.
The reactions from him.
God.
Yeah. Oh my. What? And you know how serious he'll take it too. But.
Oh yeah.
So, all right, man. Well, this was a good way to kind of talk a little NFL, get us ready for fantasy. And, when we get back next week, we're going to start to talk about some of the games going on in the bubble, the games that actually matter. And then I want to do a camps battle talk where we go through and we break down, how's Nick Foles and Mitch going to break down, and how does it benefit each side, maybe for team-wise and for fantasy. And maybe a couple other camp battles. And maybe we do one more mock draft because I know PJ loves the mocks, so we can't leave him out. So
okay, absolutely.
All right, man. It's been real. Thanks for hopping on with me again, and we'll talk soon, all right?
All right, appreciate you. Peace.
All right, man.